what's up, you guys? So today's video is going to be part of the Pets Ed Life video campaign. If you guys don't know what Pets Ed Life is, click over here to check out their channel. They're a nonprofit that encourages people to go out and adopt animals. And I want to encourage you guys to go out and adopt an animal too, because there are so many animals out there waiting to be adopted and you can change their lives forever. And I think that that's amazing. So go out and adopt an animal or two or three. And for today's video, I wanted to share with you all the different types of animals that I've had throughout my lifetime, because I've kind of compiled a list and I never realized how many pets I've had until I went back and I was like, wow, I've had all these pets. I think close to 17 or 18 pets, and that's crazy. So in chronological order, I'm going to share with you all the pets that I've had in my lifetime. And the very first pet that I ever had was Gizmo, my severe macaw. He's currently, I believe, about 25 years old. And he is a bird that my parents got before I was born. Therefore, he was the first pet that I've ever had, and I still have him now. The very next pet I've ever had were fish, and I'm just going to count fish as one pet because I feel like they just count as one pet. I've had fish, I've had betta fish, and I've had just a pretty decent sized freshwater tank with a mixed variety of fish in it. So I've had fish as a child, and I had them for quite a while, but we just kind of decided that having a fish tank is a lot of work because you have to clean it out and all that stuff. So we eventually just stopped having fish, but for a long time there we did have a fish tank. And that leads to my next one, which is crabs. For a short amount of time we had a couple pet crabs, which were in their own separate little tank, so that's why I'm counting them as a separate pet aside from the fish. And then next we got a rabbit, and no, not Desmond. We had a rabbit a long time ago when I was maybe around 7 or 8 years old. I begged my parents for a rabbit. They said no. They were like, no, you can't take care of it. You're 7, you can't have a rabbit. I begged and begged and begged, and then eventually, I think at PetSmart, they had an adoption event, and we ended up adopting a rabbit. It was a black rabbit, and its name was Lola, I think, but we renamed it. I renamed it Nibbles. I know, I'm so creative. What a good name. And so we had this rabbit, Nibbles, which was probably 1 or 2 years old, I'm guessing. A black rabbit. Wasn't even that cute, but whatever, I really wanted a rabbit. And she was the meanest rabbit ever. You could not pick her up or hold her. She would bite you, and she would run away from you. We did have the rabbit for maybe about a year or so, and then we ended up getting my next pet, which was Daisy, our Labradoodle, who is no longer alive, sadly. But we got Daisy, and then Daisy did not really like the rabbit. Daisy would always go to the rabbit's cage and sniff the rabbit and annoy the rabbit. Plus the rabbit was really mean. So my parents were kind of all right, well, you're not really taking care of the rabbit. My parents had to do all the work because I was a child and I was irresponsible. And then my dog didn't really like the rabbit. The rabbit was really mean and unpleasant. So we decided to give the rabbit back to the shelter, which is really sad, I know. And the next pet we got was Ace, my Silky Terrier Bichon mixed dog. And Ace was my dog, and then Daisy was my brother's dog. So we had the dogs at this point, the fish tank, and we had Gizmo. It was basically that for a little while. And then when my grandma passed away, we ended up taking her dog, which was named Ginger, and she was a Cairn Terrier. We had Ginger for a couple years, I think, and then Ginger ended up getting sick. I don't remember what disease she had, but it made her lose her hair, and then she was peeing in the house and stuff randomly. And we ended up getting her put down because it wasn't curable. It was something that we could spend a whole bunch of money trying to prolong, but in the end, Ginger would end up being miserable. So we were all right, well, we're just gonna put her down because we don't want to prolong anything when it's not gonna really help, you know? So we put Ginger down, and we did not have any pets for the longest time after that. But then when I turned 17, my dad got me a leopard gecko for my birthday. I begged my parents my entire life. I've always wanted a lizard. And they always said no. They thought lizards were gross, whatever. They did not want me to have a lizard. I begged. I was annoying. Eventually I stopped begging, but my dad got me a leopard gecko for my birthday, and I was so happy about it. And this kind of got the ball rolling where I wanted more and more pets, because I for some reason, loved having a leopard gecko and like researching what I needed to do for it. And I loved taking care of it. And I loved feeding it and like checking the temperature of the tank. I just loved doing all that stuff. So then eventually I decided not only did I want a leopard gecko, but I wanted a bearded dragon as well. Literally, I think 2 months or so after I got the leopard gecko, I was begging my parents and begging them to let me get a bearded dragon, and then I got a bearded dragon, and bearded dragons get a lot bigger than leopard geckos. I loved my bearded dragon. So I had a bearded dragon, a leopard gecko, 2 dogs, and Gizmo. And then about 1 or 2 months after I got the bearded dragon, I somehow coerced my parents into letting me get my snake, my ball python, which I still have. And I don't know how I convinced them to let me get a snake, but Mango, come on, I'm making a video. I somehow convinced them to let me get a snake. I think it's just because snakes are so easy to take care of. I was like, I literally barely have to do anything. Like, ball pythons are so easy. Can I please get a snake? They're so cool. My parents hate snakes, but I somehow convinced them. They let me get a snake. I was excited. And then also around this time, I got dubia roaches, which you might not consider a pet, but I'm just gonna consider it a pet because I did have to take care of them. I had a whole colony of dubia roaches in my room. The reason why I got them is because I could like make a whole separate video on this, but they're just a lot better to keep than crickets. They're a lot healthier for lizards to eat than crickets, and they don't smell bad, they're easier to take care of, all this stuff. So I just had a colony of roaches to feed my lizards. And then I mostly did this just so I wouldn't have to go out and buy crickets all the time, so it was a lot cheaper for me to just keep roaches. So yeah, I had thousands of roaches in my room. Next, a few months later, I got another bearded dragon, and this was a male bearded dragon. My other one was a female. First one I got was a regular one, and then this other one I got was like the leatherback. It was like a reddish colored bearded dragon, so it was more expensive. I think it was like close to $200 for this bearded dragon. They ended up mating and laying eggs. They laid like 20 something eggs, but only 2 of them hatched. So then I had 4 bearded dragons. And I have another video where I tell this story, but basically they all ended up getting sick and like dying, and then I had to get rid of some of them. That's a whole nother video, which I'll put in the description below. But yeah, they ended up getting sick because all this stuff happened. And then I ended up getting a hamster around this time. Sonic, he was a Robo-Dwarf hamster, the cutest thing ever. And then I got Mango, my sun conure, a few months after that, and Mango is right here. After I got Mango, I think about 4 months later, I got Desmond, my giant rabbit. So as of right now, the only pets I have are my dog Ace, Gizmo and Mango, my birds, Monty, my ball python, and Desmond, my giant rabbit. All my bearded dragons ended up dying. And then I ended up selling my leopard gecko because my parents didn't want me to have it anymore, and leopard geckos live a long time, so I wasn't really sure if I wanted that commitment anymore because I was getting all these other pets at around this time. So I ended up selling my leopard gecko. But yeah, those are all the pets that I've had in my lifetime. As you can tell, that was a lot, and I absolutely enjoyed all of them. I highly encourage you guys to go out and adopt a pet because, like I said, there are so many out there that are living in shelters, and I promise you that they will change your lives for the better. They will make you so much happier and make you a more compassionate person. And I can tell you that owning all these pets has definitely done that for me. Also, don't forget to check out Pets Ed Life. The link to their channel will be in the description below. And also don't forget to check out my social media. The links to those will be in the description below as well. And I'll see you guys in my next video. And also, say bye to Mango. Say bye to Mango. Bye, Mango. Bye, Mango. Say bye to Mango.